Did you know that World War I, one of the deadliest conflicts in history, was triggered by a single gunshot? This monumental war, spanning continents and claiming millions of lives, had a surprisingly simple catalyst. The shot that changed the world was fired in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914. The man in the crosshairs was Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. A man of royal blood, Franz Ferdinand was no stranger to the responsibilities and dangers of his position. Yet he was unaware that his planned visit to Sarajevo in June of 1914 would set in motion a series of events leading to the most devastating war the world had seen until then. But let's step back for a moment. To understand the gravity of the situation, we must first delve into the simmering cauldron of tensions that was the Balkans at the turn of the 20th century. Nationalism was on the rise, with various ethnic groups yearning for autonomy and recognition. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, a complex web of different nationalities and ethnic groups, was particularly vulnerable to these tensions. The Balkans, often referred to as the powder keg of Europe, was a hotbed of such nationalist sentiments. The region was a mosaic of ethnicities and religions, each with their own aspirations and grievances, and all under the watchful eye of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But not everyone was content to merely watch. In the shadows, secret societies began to form. One such group was the Black Hand, a Serbian nationalist secret society. Their goal was clear: to unite all Serbs, whether they resided within Serbia's borders or in territories controlled by Austria-Hungary. They were prepared to achieve this by any means necessary, even if it meant resorting to violence. So, as Archduke Franz Ferdinand prepared for his visit to Sarajevo, he was stepping into a volatile situation, rife with nationalist fervour and secret plots. His planned visit was seen by many as a provocation, an opportunity for the Austro-Hungarian Empire to assert its control over the region. Little did he know that his presence in Sarajevo would provide the spark needed to ignite the powder keg. A plot was brewing, one that would shake the world to its core. At the heart of this plot was a young Bosnian Serb nationalist, Gavrilo Princip. A mere lad of 19, Princip was a member of the Black Hand, a secret society committed to freeing the Slav people from Austro-Hungarian rule. But his youthful age belied a steely resolve, a seething passion for his cause that would soon change the course of history. Princip and his co-conspirators, a motley crew of students and workers, were not seasoned assassins. They were fired by the fervour of nationalism, their hearts ablaze with the desire for a united Slavic nation. Yet they were willing to risk everything, even their lives, for their shared dream. They began to plot, to plan, to prepare for the unthinkable, the assassination of the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. The group received support from the higher-ups in the Black Hand, who saw in this audacious plot a chance to further their cause. They provided the plotters with weapons, training, and a plan. The plot was simple, yet daring. On June 28th, as Archduke Franz Ferdinand paraded through the streets of Sarajevo, they would strike. But as we all know, even the best-laid plans can go awry. The plotters were not professional assassins. They were young, inexperienced, driven more by passion than by tactical expertise. Their inexperience would lead to a bungled first attempt, giving the Archduke a brief reprieve. But fate, it seems, had its own plans. Princip, the unassuming teenager, would find himself at the right place at the right time. His path and the Archduke's converging in a deadly intersection. The stage was set, the players in place, the plot ready to unfold. The tension was palpable. The future of nations hinged on the actions of a few young men, their hearts beating with the rhythm of a revolutionary dream. Destiny had set a date for their deadly mission. A mission that would echo through the corridors of time, setting into motion events that would redefine the world as we know it. The plot was in place, the plotters ready. The world, unknowingly, stood on the brink of a great and terrible war. June 28th, 1914, a day that started like any other. Yet this seemingly ordinary day would soon be etched into the annals of history as a day of blood, a day that would ignite the fuse of the Great War. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, arrived in Sarajevo with his wife Sophie. Full of optimism, and unaware of the danger that lurked in the shadows. The city was buzzing, the streets filled with the chatter of citizens and the clatter of horse-drawn carriages. Yet beneath the surface, a plot was unfolding, a plot that aimed to strike at the heart of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The first attempt on the Archduke's life failed. A bomb was thrown at his motorcade, but it missed its mark, exploding behind the royal car and injuring several bystanders. Shaken but unharmed, the Archduke decided to carry on with his visit, a decision that would prove to be fatal. The parade route was revised for safety, but fate, it seems, had a cruel sense of irony. Due to a misunderstanding, the driver took a wrong turn, and the car ended up stalled in front of a deli on Franz Joseph Street. It was there that Gavrilo Princip, a young Bosnian Serb nationalist, seized his opportunity. He stepped forward from the crowd, pistol in hand, and fired 2 shots. The first bullet struck the Archduke in the neck, the second hit his wife in the abdomen. Within minutes, both were dead. Those 2 gunshots echoed far beyond the streets of Sarajevo. They were heard across continents, in the halls of power and in the humblest of homes. They shook the foundations of empires and sparked a conflict that would engulf the world. In the aftermath, the city of Sarajevo plunged into chaos. But the repercussions of this act of violence were not confined to this Balkan city. They reverberated around the globe, setting off a chain reaction of events that would lead to the outbreak of World War I. With a single shot, the world was set on a path to war. The echoes of the gunshot in Sarajevo reached far beyond the city's streets. As news of Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination spread, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was thrown into a state of shock and mourning. But it was not just sorrow that stirred within its borders. A simmering rage began to boil over. Austria-Hungary, suspecting Serbian involvement, was quick to point fingers. With the scent of conflict in the air, the Austro-Hungarian Empire issued an ultimatum to Serbia. The demands were harsh, designed to be almost impossible to fully accept. They requested that Serbia suppress all anti-Austrian propaganda, dissolve nationalist groups like the Black Hand, and even allow Austro-Hungarian officials to participate in the investigation and trial of the assassins. Serbia, feeling cornered and under threat, responded with careful diplomacy. They agreed to most of the demands, but balked at allowing foreign interference in their internal affairs, a move that would have effectively surrendered part of their sovereignty. This partial acceptance, however, was not enough for Austria-Hungary. While the world watched nervously, the intricate web of alliances that had been woven across Europe began to tighten. The tension pulled nations into the fray one by one like a deadly domino effect. Russia, bound by Slavic brotherhood, stood with Serbia. France, tied by a mutual defense pact, aligned with Russia. Germany, Austria-Hungary's ally, was drawn in too, setting the stage for a conflict of unprecedented proportions. Finally, on July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. The sparks of war had been lit, and they were about to ignite a conflagration that would engulf the globe. The assassination of a single man had set in motion a chain of events that would forever change the course of history. The world, as it was known, was about to be consumed by the fires of World War I. A gunshot, a life lost, and a world thrown into chaos. As we reflect on the events that transpired, we're left to marvel at the monumental repercussions of that fateful day in Sarajevo. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, an event seemingly small on the grand stage of global affairs, ignited a conflict that would span continents and claim countless lives. The echoes of that gunshot reverberated through the halls of power in capitals across Europe, shattering the delicate balance of alliances and treaties. It was the catalyst that set in motion a chain of events leading to the greatest conflict the world had ever seen, World War I. Such was the power of a single gunshot, the gunshot that started World War I.